We're gonna get started. Okay. Y'all can see there. Make sure I got my button. All right. We are. We are live. At least that's what it says. Yes, we are live. All right. And good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. We are live on YouTube. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure it's working. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, LP Studio. All right, today, you guys, we are going to be talking about electric filing. And my first question is, how many of you guys have used one? And do you feel comfortable using it? What about on other people? Not so much, not sure? Okay, what about you? You haven't used one at all? Okay, well, today's going to be fun because we're going to bust out the eggs today. And with the practice. And the seniors will tell you, this was fun, right? It was fun. Okay. So with that being said, boom. Let's go ahead and get this party started. All right. Electric filing. What we're going to talk about today in particular is the importance of learning the electric file. You need to know how to use the electric file, and there's several reasons why. Okay, we didn't always have electric file. You know, I'm old, and back in the day, we used to have to file for our life, okay, to get these nails done, and to remove them and all that stuff. So this is a very valuable tool. Trust me. You just need to make sure you know how to use it. We're going to describe different types of electric files and also compare features of electric files that you're going to want to look for when you go to buy one, okay? Because there are several different price points. They can be anywhere from $19 on Amazon to, $599. Them Koopa dress them up, put on new clothes. E-files they got charging nearly $600. The only different thing you can do with them is change the color. Like you can put a new color on, like, jacket on it. So you can call your client and say, hey, what are you wearing today? I can match my e-file to your outfit. Like, whatever. So they can get pretty expensive, okay? And we're also going to talk about the bits, all right? Because the bits are parts of that get confusing sometimes. Like, which one do I use? Which one should I not use? And when? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to demonstrate how to use an electric file properly. But at the end of the day, today, what I'm going to be showing you is the very first easy thing is removal of, like, gel polish and stuff like that, because that's the first step. We don't want to get too deep into, shaping and filing and all that stuff. That's very advanced. But removal of gel polish is what we're going to focus on today, because that's the first thing you do with the e-file, basically, is remove the gel polish, and also the natural nail plate, prepping it. So that's what this egg is going to represent, the natural nail plate. And you know how I feel about the natural nail plate. Preserve it at all costs, okay? And so these, just so you guys know, these eggs have been out for 3 days. So please don't break one, okay? I don't know how that's going to work. It might have a little smell. Okay, no, I'm just joking. They should be all right after 3 days. It takes a lot longer than 3 days for an egg to start stinking. We're gonna talk about electric filing with pedicures. Okay, so that will get you kind of up to speed on what we do with A&T as an A&T when we're working on chronically ill patients. Which I use an e-file with pedicures in general. Good morning on IG, you guys. We are just so you guys know, we have been banned from TikTok. Like I'm over there twerking or something. Over there selling tail on TikTok. Apparently, they have banned me. They have permanently banned me from TikTok. But you can get around it. You just have to. I cannot make a new account or go live on the phone, that phone right there, because that's the one that I did the indiscretion. You have to get all new followers, all new everything. everything. So but I got to get up to 1,000 just to be able to go live. And I really don't care about followers. I know, followers don't mean nothing. Yeah. I care about being able to go live. Yeah. So as soon as I hit 1K, so y'all go back over there, follow that page, the new page. It is not a fake page. It is really me. Don't report it. Esperanza's about to report me. I was like, damn, they're going to get me again. She was like, is this you? Okay, so go on over there. And get on back on TikTok. It's MNSON706. That's what we go. That's the little name, whatever. And find me. I'm there. You can still look me up on Mary Negron School of Nails. It will pop up. That is me. Okay. They have deleted all my accounts. I am an evil nail teacher. Apparently, I'm a bad person. I don't know. And what can you possibly get banned for when you're talking about nails? Like what? They said something about youth and community, something about maybe I wasn't convincing the youth to do something bad with their nails. I don't know. They don't give you an explanation. They just say, you're banned. And you broke the community guidelines. So I don't know. Maybe I should just start an OnlyFans. I'm sure they don't have any guidelines over there. But we'll just leave that alone. So that's why I'm building up my YouTube page because I really don't care for TikTok outside of, it's fun and doing the lives, but I'm trying to make money. YouTube is where the money's at. So we're going on over to YouTube, and you can watch us live on YouTube. Just click the link in the bio. It'll take you straight there. All I want is your email address so I can let you know in case they ban me from a platform, I can still reach you. You know what I mean? So with that being said, we're also going to talk about troubleshooting with an e-file. Sometimes people get their e-file. You wouldn't even believe how many people buy my e-file and they'll email me and say, it's not working. I'm like, did you plug it in? Well, it's a portable e-file. Well, you got to charge it. It's just like a phone, and sometimes you get it and it doesn't have power. So with that being said, we'll also talk about some safety tips with e-files as well, okay? So why do you think you need to learn how to use an e-file? Why is it even important?
You damage. Yeah, you can seriously hurt.
Yeah, you can really hurt somebody with an e-file. And let me just tell you a real quick story, okay, about the time that I nearly lacerated someone's entire fingertip off, okay? Before, when I first started doing nails when I got my license back in 2005, okay, that's when I got my license. We didn't even have a chapter in the book for electric file. There was no, I don't even, if there was, I surely don't remember it, okay? And we didn't have a chapter about gel or anything like that. So this, all of this stuff is fairly new, okay? So when I saw, I need an electric file. Let me buy one. So I bought one. And it came with, the standard bits. But I was like, these bits don't work. And they hardly ever do. Those standard bits that they send you, the little diamond bits. So I'm going to put this on the screen and show you the e-file bit that I was using when I nearly cut off my client's finger. So I'm just, going to town, filing away. I'm just like, with this very, very, very coarse metal bit here. This is a 4 times coarse, 4X. And when you're using this bit, you never want to go in this direction. Why? Because this will happen. What happened to me is it went around and her entire finger like this, and cut right there all the way around her finger. And it was so sharp that she didn't even feel it. I was like, girl, we bleeding, girl. She was like, what? And then she's like, ah. So luckily I had insurance, which you should have. When you are touching other people, you need to have liability insurance. Please do, okay? So he went straight over there to MCG and got her some stitches and called me right afterwards. It was like, you gonna finish my nails? Because I hadn't even finished her nails. Like, she still had unfiled acrylic on this side. This one was like half done. I got to, I was like, girl, I guess, come on, man. We're gonna have to leave that thumb alone, though. On whatever finger it was. So, yeah. That was because I didn't know I had no training. I didn't have any idea what I was doing with this e-file, and I'm glad that was all that happened to her. Okay, so safety is one thing, right? Well, how about my favorite subject? How about money? Because time is money, right? Like back in the day when we were doing when we didn't have e-files, it took a whole lot longer to hand file a set or shape a set and get a set, especially in the beginning when my nails were a little thick because I wasn't really laying my acrylic very well, and it took a lot of time to hand file those nails nice and smooth. So time is money in this industry, and it will speed up your process quite a bit. Now, it's also going to allow you to file and shape your nails more precisely. So, and more, we'll just say more refined. Okay, you can get really close and tight in that cuticle area, make sure that everything is even, and it's so much easier to get that apex nice and shaped when you're using an e-file. But this is not for you to learning the e-file is not for you to just say, let me throw away this hand file and not be good at that, because you also need to be good at hand filing, because Lord knows your e-file will go out on you one day, and it's only going to go out on you while you're doing what? Somebody's nails, right? So you may have to bust down and actually bring out some of your skills, right? Your hand filing skills. So don't give up on the hand filing just because you learn how to e-file. And also always have a backup e-file if you're smart, right? So now where are you going to learn these things? Take these, because I didn't get any course. There was no pamphlet. There was no instruction manual that taught me how to e-file on nails. It just told me how to use the e-file. Well, where you're going to learn it, A, is in school, right? If you go to a decent school. And B is these trade shows. Go to these people's websites, okay? And I'm going to give you a few that I like to use so that where you can purchase high quality bits, okay? I sell a few, but when I sell you high quality and a big variety, I'll give you guys quite a few different websites that I like to purchase them on. Okay. Now another reason you want to learn how to use an electric file is because I don't know about y'all, but if you, I had probably had carpal tunnel before I even did nails, just from typing a lot, right? But carpal tunnel is a repetitive motion disorder that you can get in your wrist from just doing this all day, doing things with your wrists all day. Okay. So typing is one of those things. You type, if you could feel it when you type it, you feel pressure right there in your wrist. So this will alleviate that, or if you have that issue, this can make your life a lot easier learning how to use an e-file. Okay. Now, just picking up an e-file, it's not just, knowing how to use it, but also knowing the parts of your e-file and what they do and what they don't do, what they can do is very important. So we're going to get into a lot of detail with that today. Now, let's talk about or describe some different types of e-files that are out there. Okay. Now, first and foremost, an e-file is basically a micro motor machine. Okay. And that's another name for it. Micro motor machines. And when we look at an e-file, so I'm going to pull out mine in particular, because why not? Now these are the student ones, so they got a little bust down to them. Y'all just be treating these in all kind of way. Lord of mercy. And if y'all need some e-files, they're all over here, y'all. We were charging them yesterday. So when we talk about an e-file, the motor is located, where would you think? You think it's located in this big box right here, right? Because you think about a motor, you think about a car motor, like it's in this big box. This is not true. The motor is actually located in the handpiece, okay? So if you were to dismember this, okay, Jeffrey Dahmer. Disassemble, if we were to disassemble this, okay, and open it up, there is a little thing in there, a little motor that is some spin, right? To make this bit turn, all right? This piece, because this is a rechargeable e-file, is actually the transformer. And when we talk about transformers, you know what I'm talking about. that little box that's on the back of everything that you plug in, this is actually a transformer, right? This is what changes the electrical current to whatever it needs to be to charge this up. All right. Now, this is a portable one. Now, with a tabletop one, it's the same, but you have to keep it plugged in, right? So that is where the power comes from, okay, to power this motor. All right. It's like the battery in your car. We're going to talk a lot about cars today, and I'm not a car expert, okay? I like to think I know a little bit about cars, but you know, the last car that I owned didn't have an engine at all. So, rest in peace, Bessie. I'm going to get Bessie 2.0 as soon as I get another student paying full. Why do I say that all the time?
Because that's what you want.
That's what I'm putting it into the universe. I'm manifesting that 5 students paying full at one time, and I can put a down payment on my BBL too. All right. So yeah, that's where the motor, the battery motor. Got it. So there's lots of different brands out there, tons of different for budgets, different budgets. Okay, so for instance, we have, and I'm going to be pulling out a lot of different types, well, a few different types of e-files today. Hi, boss. I'm one of your students in Lagos, Nigeria. Where in Lagos can I get your acrylic system, please? I'll be there soon. Don't worry. We'll talk about it. All right. So these 3 here, different price points. Okay. Hold on. We even got one more. Now, just full disclosure, y'all. This right here is my absolute most favorite e-file of all time, okay, that I've ever owned. Of course, I have my own now, so I have to be a little bit biased and say mine is better, right? But this e-file I have had for 15 years, and it still works, but you got to keep her plugged in. She needs the juice. She's not a portable e-file anymore. Just as soon as you unplug it, it's dead. So it has to stay plugged in like a. But I'm gonna explain to you why it's my favorite. So we've got our $19 e-file. Okay. Huh? No, they're right here, baby, in this box. Oh, sorry. We got our $19 e-file. Then we have a little bit of a step up. This one is $49. I think Mr. Johnny sells it for $49. Okay. Then we have mine, which is right now $169, and you guys get a 20% discount. And this is a what is the net brand? Medicool Pro Pack 35K e-file. This one's 35K. I think this one is 35K, and this one we don't know. And I'm gonna show you why, okay? Because this is a craft and hobby tool. You guys need to avoid buying e-files that are sold at Home Depot. I know it's Depot. I'm just, trying to little humor here. Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Harbor Freight, or what is that? A furniture place? Yes. What's the other one? What's Harbor something? Ain't it Freight? Harbor Freight. Okay, I thought so. So don't buy e-files and bits, okay, in those places. Okay, they are not meant for nails. We do not need the same power in our e-file that we need to drill a hole in a concrete wall that we do for a nail. Okay, so Dremel drills, those drills that hang, and I'm saying drills because we're gonna, as professionals, we should be saying electric file or e-file, right? Not drill. Anytime I hear nail, and I say it sometimes on accident, I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to say that, but we don't want to use the word drill because drills you buy at the Lowe's and Depot, okay, and Home Depot. All right. So the power that is in these is when you notice I said 35K, 30K, whatever, we don't know K. That is what the difference will be in those craft hobby tools. Okay. And you've even seen in nail salons those ones that hang from like that They hang and they got a long snake-like handpiece and they just drop it and let it just fall, you know. Those are hobby tools. And I don't care what you type on it, because right here this says cordless nail tool pin drill. Can you see that?
Yeah, pen drill.
All that is a sticker, first of all, because I have seen in Hobby Lobby and like Hobby Lobby, and when I say Home Depot, we also can get drills and engravers and things like that in Hobby Lobby and what's Joann's and craft stores, right? For what? I've seen this exact same tool used as and it says pin engraver, so that you can engrave things into metal and wood and things like that. This is not meant for nails, okay? We have it here because it is for an example, but this is not meant for nails. I don't care what no one tells you, all right? And there's a reason for that. Let me show you why, okay? This right here, when I turn it on, there's a little switch here. It's just on, off. No forward, reverse, no low speed, high speed. It's just on, off. How do I know how fast this is even going? How do I know how much torque and power I don't. I have no idea. And it's dangerous for you to be working on a natural nail when you're doing prep work with a machine that's going 15, 20K per minute, okay? And so you will never know how fast this is going. I have no clue. Don't care to know. But you guys, when you get to touch this, you will see that it is very cheap feeling. It vibrates like crazy. And over time, when you're e-filing on a nail for 2 hours, I mean, when you think about it, you do the prep work with the e-file, you lay the acrylic, and then next thing you know, you spend another 30 minutes on, just shaping and filing and finishing. You're holding this all day. By the time you hold this all day with 4 or 5 clients, you have held it for quite a few hours. And if you've ever held something that vibrates all day long, it will cause fatigue in your arms. So it's not worth. Just spend the money on a decent e-file. Okay. So, and we'll get back to these other ones, but let's move forward in our slides here. Now, that gets me to the word RPMs. What does that mean? RPM stands for revolutions per minute. And when we're talking about RPMs with a car, it's the same. It's basically the same thing, I believe. Revolution. How many times is that engine, to get us to the speed that we need to go? How many times is something turning in there to get us to move that fast, right? So it's the same thing with an e-file. You will see on more high quality e-files, there'll be an LED screen or LCD screen that shows you how fast it's going. Okay. This one, no, but this little one here, this one's only $45. I can tell you right now, I love this little e-file because you just charge it, okay? And you turn it on, and there is an indicator here to tell you how fast it's going, okay? And that's pretty cool for something that's so cheap. And I carry this one with me. I just throw it in my pocket if I know I want to go home and do a manicure or pedicure on myself or whatever, right? This e-file also has the LCD screen here, okay, to tell you how fast it's going, and this one as well. But I told you she gonna die in a second. She's not gonna she's not gonna make it, okay. But she has one too, okay. So that's one feature you want to look for. Now, let's get to the car reference that I'm gonna make real quick. So you've got I always say this, I don't want to offend nobody. Let's see, what's a little poop car? We'll just say like a Honda Civic. Like, that car is not gonna be winning no races, okay? Versus a Porsche or a Lamborghini, okay? Now Lamborghini, it's gonna go like it's gonna 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. All right. But when you look at that, how fast will your Honda Civic go? Well, it says it'll go to like, maybe 150 miles an hour max. I don't know. But your Lamborghini says it'll go to 300 miles an hour. I'm making stuff up here, y'all. Just go with it. Because I ain't never been in either one of them cars. So if a Lamborghini says it will go to 300 miles per hour, are you going to drive it 300 miles per hour? Probably not. All right, you're going to stay somewhere in the middle, somewhere, you may get, hopefully you drive the speed limit, right? But you could go 300 miles an hour. That's what it says anyway. So what happens if you drive that car at 300 miles per hour all the time, high, all the time? What's going to happen? You're probably going to burn that motor out at some point. It's definitely going to burn out at some point, okay? So, same thing. So, you're going to have to stay somewhere in the middle, but that middle of 300 is still 150 miles an hour. That's still pretty fast and strong. Whereas a Honda Civic that maybe only goes 150 miles per hour max, if you run that thing at 150 all the time, it's definitely going to blow. So we got to stay somewhere around, that 60 mile an hour mark. We can't really go too fast without, stay there. So which one is going to be more powerful at that middle mark? Well, obviously the one that has the highest speed, because you can still has the power. It still will go fast, but without blowing the motor, but you still got to stay somewhere in that middle range. So if I were to run this thing, because it's just on and off, if I were to run this thing all day long on just that high speed, the highest speed it'll go, which is this, it is definitely going to blow out at some point, okay? Whereas our other e-files, they have the power, but we don't use that power often unless we need to, which is you're going to turn it all the way up more really high when you're doing like a cut down or removal, because you don't want to be there all day. But that's your motor. You want to make sure that it's strong enough to handle what you're doing, okay? If you're using a weak e-file that only goes up to 10K, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of cut downs, because you're going to turn it all the way up and it's still not going to have enough power to do it, and it's probably going to blow, okay? So when you're buying your e-files, look for an e-file that is somewhere between 30 and 35K. I have not seen a 40K yet. Someone said they had Eleanor said that, but Eleanor, half the time, I don't even understand what she's saying. She might have said 35. I don't know. She was like, no, mine is 40. I was like, let me see it. So you want to be able to work somewhere in the middle. Got that? Okay. Now, power and torque. What does torque mean? So torque is literally the power of a machine and its ability to keep moving under pressure. Okay? So you can have a machine that goes fast, right? It can go 20K. But as soon as you put it on the nail, it goes, stop. It ain't got no power. No power at all. It's like them big old muscle men, and they got that little. What you gonna do with that, right? Gotta look like you got all that power and muscle. You can't do nothing with it, right? So you want to have a machine that has high torque, okay? So that's advisable. You can still use one that has a little less power, but you're gonna have to baby that thing, okay? So, remember this: high torque equals high power, right? At a lower speed. So that means you can do very, very low speed techniques with your e-file and it not cut off on you, okay? Now, low torque means that it has less power and you're going to have to crank the speed up to get it to do the smallest things, okay? So, is one worse than the other, one bad, one good? You just got to learn how to work with what you got, okay? Now, if your machine slows down or it stops, that means that you're at too low of a speed. You have to crank that thing up, crank it up, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're using whatever you buy, because you need to buy what you can afford, okay? Don't go out here and buy a Koopa machine because somebody on TikTok told you to. They're getting kickback, okay? Buy what you can afford and use that. If you can only afford this, honey, bless your heart, but that's what you're going to have to do, okay? Get one of these. They're only $20 more. All right, much better. All right, moving right along. Now let's talk about some of the features. Some of the features that you're you're definitely gonna want to have. Okay. Again, this one has no features. On and off. That's it. Okay. Now, the features that you're gonna want to look for, again, number one, budget. Budget. Make sure you can afford it. Okay. Do not buy what you can't afford. But you're also going to want to look for a machine that has forward and reverse. Why is that a good thing? Why would you want that?
Make it easier to shape.
It would definitely make it easier to shape if you are left-handed. They don't buy or sell left-handed machines and right-handed machines, right? Because you got to think, this thing is going to be spinning in a certain direction, okay? And which forward is for right-handed people, okay? Because you're always going to be working in the reverse direction. So if it's turning forward, meaning clockwise, like a clock, you're going to be starting, because you're right-handed, start from the right-hand side and go to the left. That's natural, the natural order of things when you think about it, because your brain works that way. Because if it's you'll be going against the way that it's turning. Now, if you're left-handed, you got a couple of left-handed people, you need to work in reverse.
Oh, reverse.
Yep, you're going to be working in reverse naturally with your left hand. Now, remember this though. You don't just do everybody else's nails, you do yours too sometimes, right? And you got two hands. So you're going to have to switch hands and work with another hand. So that's a feature that you will want to have to be able to switch it. Because when you go and, Marie, when you change over to do your right hand, when you go to do your left hand, you're going to have to put it in forward. Okay. So that because your brain works that way. It wants to do the exact opposite with the other hand when you're forced to do it. So it will work easier for you. Now, I will tell you, I have a friend that I used to work with, Jacqueline Acosta. She don't speak very good English at all. She used to teach the Spanish portion of the Vetro classes that I used to teach. And she was teaching to the class one day, and she was telling the story because she works. It's so weird to watch her work because she's right-handed, right? But she works in reverse because and she's always working in reverse. And so someone asked her in Spanish, they were like, why are you e-filing backwards? And she told the story. She said, well, when I first picked up an e-file 20 years ago, it was the reverse was broken.
Oh, and
she learned that way to use it or forward was broken, excuse me. So she had to use it like she was left-handed with her right hand. And so she just learned how to use it that way. And so now she just always pushes it in reverse and works in reverse. So I don't know how in the world but I mean, if that's how you learned it, that's the way, you're going to always do it. That's why I like having new nail tech students in here that have never done nails, because I don't have to unteach you stuff, right? Yeah. So but it's very strange to watch her work because she's working with her right hand like a left-handed person. It's just very weird. But so she obviously needs to have a machine that goes in forward and reverse so she can switch it, or she's gonna have a hard time because she won't know how to hold it. So now another thing that you want to look for is a machine that has what's called a chuck. Okay? What is the chuck? Not your old drinking buddy. It's this part right here on an e-file. Okay? Now, this part on this particular e-file, I'll use this one because it's a pin too. Okay? What's the difference between these two? Well, obviously, I've told you a few things about it. But when it comes to the chuck, you can see that this part opens up kind of like a flower. Let me get closer. Okay, that's better. Right there. So this part right here, when you turn to unlock it, and you see there's a little lock thing here, tells you which way to turn it. When you go to unlock it, or lock it, this is locked, this is unlocked. You see it opens up like a flower. Okay? And when you put the bit in there, I'm gonna put this bit in here, and you lock it down, it keeps the bit from coming out. Okay, so it'll close around it. This one, however, okay, the chuck on this one, you've got to actually hold this little stupid button right here, okay, and twist this. And you'll see, well, I'm taking it off so you can see where the chuck is. The chuck is on the inside, okay? So in order to close this thing has to be twisted, okay, over. So let me put another bit in here. You got to put that in there and hold this little button down, and that keeps this mechanism from turning in here. And you twist and twist and twist, and you have to make sure you're holding it tight. You got to be strong to hold it, because if it is not twisted down in there and you turn this on, guess where that bit's going? Phew! Okay? Because this is not meant for nails. This, however, if I forget to lock it, let's say I forget to lock it and I turn it on, it's not even going to turn. It won't turn. It's got a safety mechanism in it, okay, that keeps it from doing that. This one, if I turn it on, and I'm not going to, but it's going to turn on and it's going to flick it out, okay? So you want to make sure that you have that locking chuck, okay, that makes this bit stay inside of here, okay, very easily without having to use your strength, okay? Now, a foot pedal, there are e-files that come with a foot pedal, and those are usually, well, I've never seen one that's portable, okay, that has a foot pedal. But they're usually going to be your desktop non-movable e-files, okay, that sit on your desktop all the time. It's not portable, okay? And if you're going to get one, I love a foot pedal, but it's got to be a certain kind. It's got to be they have two different kinds. They have a foot pedal that when you press it, it just turns the e-file on, turns the e-file off, on, off, just like you're driving. You just push it and it's on. Yeah, a sewing machine is what you want. One that when you push it, it goes slow to fast, like however fast you push it, right? So that's the kind I want, one that drives like a car, where if I press the gas a little bit, it goes slow, and if I press it hard, it goes fast. Those are great. But you need to know, find out before you buy it which kind of pedal it has. I do love a foot pedal on an e-file. It is very helpful. Because even with this one, you have to turn it down manually to make it go slower. You got to stop what you're doing, turn it down, so it is a good feature to have, okay, a foot pedal. And but a portable e-file is much better, because if you are doing mobile services, number one. Number two, if you are doing pedicures and you want to use your e-file during a pedicure, you can just put it in your little pocket and take it with you or whatever. And moving an e-file from a table to a pedicure chair, I don't even think that would be a good idea or possible. Okay, now you want to look for one that has the highest RPMs you can buy, obviously, because that means more power and more torque, obviously, what you can afford, okay? And variable speed control. Again, that's not this. This is on, off, no variable speed. You want something that you can control the speed, and preferably one that you can see the speed, okay? Because I have one, it's charging over there, and it shouldn't even be because it won't hold a charge. It is the one that I had before this one, okay? It was the model before it, and it was a 30K, and it just has a turny thing a knob that doesn't tell you, no LCD screen. You don't know how fast it's going. It's just either 0 to 30K, and you just have to adjust it. So that was a little annoying, okay? And we talked about the closed hand piece. Now, when you purchase, listen, y'all, this is just my rule of thumb. Anytime I buy something that costs more than $150 and it has a warranty that I'm buying it. And an e-file will die on you for no damn reason. And you just if you spent $500 on an e-file, you're going to want to have a warranty, right? Yes. Now, like for instance, Coupa, they have a warranty on their machines where you not only do you get a new one if it breaks, or you can send it in or something like that for like a year or two. They also offer maintenance because you have to maintain these hand pieces. They get dust in them. Okay. Now, me personally, I do my own maintenance. I bust that thing open and I blow on it and get, that's what she said. But just clean it out, dust it a little bit, and get it all out of there. But you can send it to them and they will do it for you, send it back, and then you're out. You don't have another e-file for like 2-3 weeks. You better have an extra one. Okay. So but if you're buying an expensive one, make sure you get one that has a good warranty. Okay. Very, very advisable. Okay, my favorite part, the bits. How do we choose bits, and for which services do we choose them? Okay. This is kind of eye-opening for most people because a lot of times they just use the bits that came with the e-file, which they are almost always worthless. Okay. So let's talk about it. The first thing you guys need to know about bits is that they come in a variety. And when I say variety, I mean just like brushes, just like acrylic powders, just like so many different types of bits. And I'm going to pull up a couple of websites for you guys. Let's see, new window. The first one, and this is for purposes of you going to purchase, okay? And I don't know, some of these websites will give you, make sure I'm on the right screen. Okay. Some of these websites will give you a discount for being a student, okay? Let's do Erica's, ATA. Let's see, so I can tell you the actual website. I'm going to put it up here. Boom. Erica's ATA, okay, .com. Now, she sells a few bits that I'm going to tell you today that I do not like to use ever, but that's neither here nor there. So, would you like 10% off? Yes or no? Oh, I'm looking at the screen. Sorry. I'm looking right through you, honey. What you need, baby? Oh, yes. And look, we got plenty of nail glue. We got plenty of nail glue. 250 pieces. Okay, so we're going to say no thanks, but use that 10% off. So she has all kinds of bits here. Okay, she's got bit kits that you can buy several of them for a discounted rate rather than buying them separately. Diamond bits, she's got them separated for if you're using gel. These are the different types of gels you can buy. She's got the files. Look what she got. Look at Medicool Pro. That's the same one, right? Look how much it costs. $420. Let me make this bigger because even I can't see it. $420, y'all. Y'all be complaining about $189, $160 e-file that'll last you just as long. Okay, that is but that is an amazing e-file. I told you that was my favorite. Okay, my favorite e-file. And did I tell y'all why it was my favorite? The hand piece. Okay, the hand piece. If you look at this hand piece and this hand piece, what do you notice about them? Let me back up. One got a big back, and one is Slim Jim. Okay, this one right here needs to debulk a little bit. It is not easy to hold. However, I love this one because it's like using a pen. It's very slim. It's heavy, right? You can feel the weight in your hand. Okay, it doesn't vibrate like at all. Okay, and it's got diamonds in the handle. Ooh. Don't care about that part. But that's why I love that one. So that Medicool that she has on her website, and then you if you notice, look at what is more expensive. Look at what's so expensive. Just the hand pieces alone. You can replace the body easy. The hand piece is expensive, okay? And this isn't even for this e-file, just by the way. But she's got, everything you need as far as your bits are concerned. So that's one website, okay? Another one is RAM. I can't remember I'm just gonna Google it real quick. Okay, so RAM products, okay? .com, ramproducts.com, ramproducts.com. This hold on. Let me make sure I'm on the right. Wait. Not that RAM. There's another one. There's another RAM. That's the wrong one. Those are the wrong bits. Sorry. RAM nail drill bits. Maybe it is. Oh, it is ramproducts.com. But you're going to look under nail products because they have all types of bits. Okay. Ram. Okay, that's I said the wrong one. It's ramproinc.com. Not Ram Products. You're gonna get the wrong. You're gonna get drill bits for a Home Depot drill. Wrong one. See how they do? That's trifling. ramproinc.com. So when we click on nail products, you see they have all types. I want this drill, this vacuum drill right here so bad. It vacuums the dust while you e-file right into a little, and you'll see these in medical offices a lot, okay? But if you look at the price of this thing, honey, it is $1,500. I want it so bad. It's on my wish list, okay? But they have the hand piece. You can buy the hand pieces only if your e-file hand piece goes out. Look how much they cost. They're expensive, okay? Very expensive. They also have your tabletop nail e-files right here. See, just the box alone is cheap, $99 for just the box, right? But you got, when you buy the hand piece and the box, it done kicked it all the way up to $400 over here. Okay. So again, buy what you can afford and look for those certain certain features. All right, there's your portable e-files. And you see how high they get up to. I actually tested these at the show. They are so tiny and so cute, and they work so good. So good. These Mystica ones and this Whisper one. And this one has a foot pedal, and that's what I want. That one's a good one because it's portable and has a foot pedal. And it's an on-off pedal. I want one that is variable speed. Okay, but now let's look at the bits. Okay, let's look at the bits. So they've got several different types of bits here. Carbide, gold carbide, ceramic. All right, and we're about to talk about all these different kinds of bits in a second. Swiss bits, which Swiss bits, you guys, are made out of a Swiss carbide. Okay, the last one I wanted to show you guys is Atwood Industries. Okay, atwoodindustries.net. Okay, now they have several bits on here, but if you've ever heard of like the famous tornado bit and the let's see, what's one of the other ones they have the tornado bit. My all-time favorite one, you have to buy it from on this website. I don't think they sell it anywhere else. I'll tell you what the name of that is in a minute. But they've got disinfecting jars for your bits, all that kind of stuff. Okay, these are the websites you're going to want to get your bits from if you're going to be buying them online. Otherwise, put your hands on them in the nail supply so you can see how they feel and all that good stuff before you buy them. Okay, so that's just a few that you may want, websites you may want to check out. Okay, now what you don't want are wobbly bits. Anybody ever bent a bit before or broke one while using it? Has that ever happened to you, or have you ever seen one that was wobbly? Okay, let's see. This is ridiculous how many bits I have here. That I'm going to show you guys what damaged bits look like. Okay, you do not want to use damaged bits. Where's my wobbly bit? Here it is, right here. Okay, so how do you know when a bit is damaged or bent, and why can't you use it? Okay, this is a damaged bit. I'm going to turn it on. Can you see? Hold on, let me Turn it down a bit and zoom in some. You see it?
Wiggling.
It weeble wobbling.
Yeah.
It's going. It's
So
weeble wobbling.
That's how we know it's broken.
It's bent.
Oh, bang.
And you can't use a bent bit because if I put this on my nail right now, right, it's gonna be. You hear it vibrating?
Yeah.
Because it's spanking my nail. It's going boop 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 on the nail. Okay, so you can't. This bit is no longer any good. And how do we bend a bit? It happens so easy all the time. It's usually when you have it connected to an e-file that has a cord like this, and then you drop it on the floor, and it hits the floor straight like that, boop, and then the bit either breaks or it bends. Okay, and you do not want that. It is no longer any good. Okay, now moving right along to our next slide here. Now, the anatomy of a bit. Why is this important? You need to buy bits that are concentric. What does concentric mean? That means that they are balanced. They do not wobble or vibrate. They are round or exactly the same on both sides if you split it down the middle. Okay? Your bit. You're also going to want to make sure that you have surface smoothness. And what do I mean by that? Well, a bit that is not smooth, okay? A bit that is not smooth is going to look like this, okay? And how does this happen? Ooh, there we go. I'm going to put it right there in that little circle. If you look closely, and I'm going to bring this up so that it's more focused, at this bit, you can see that the teeth are not all. Some of the teeth are jagged. Uh-huh. You can. Some of them are missing. You see, like missing a little bit here on the side, and some of the teeth might be sticking out a little bit in some places. I think I have one like that where it's not smooth. You do not want a bit like that because if you use that, it's going to dig a hole into your client's, like a ditch into your client's nails. Okay, so you want them to be, the teeth not to be jagged. And how did that happen? From using my bit to remove stones or Swarovskis and things like that, metal stones. You don't want to. Well, you can have one, but just make sure that you're using an old bit that you only use for. This is my stone removal bit right here. Look how it's not even. Like it's in the middle, it's worn down. On the sides, it's wider. Like because I have used it to grind down metal stones and stuff like that. So this is the when you get a bit that's old and raggedy, keep it. Use it for purposes like that. Okay, just don't use it on your client's nails to smooth it out or anything like that. Okay, because that's not going to work. Now, when we're talking about the edges of a nail of a bit, you want them. I promise you, you guys will never ever have me hand you a bit like this with a sharp edge like this. Okay, this edge is too sharp. All right, and if it is sharp, when you get ready to go around your client's cuticle, you're going to cut that client. Okay, now it has its uses. I just feel like why use something that you can cut your client with when you could be using something that's like a safety bit? Why use something that has a very, very, very sharp edge when you can use something like this that is rounded at the top that won't cut the chances of cutting your client, because you can cut somebody with a butter knife, okay? But the chances of cutting your client are a lot less here with this type of bit. So this is a safety bit, okay? That's a safety bit. This one is a safety bit. And why is this a safety bit? It's rounded at the top, yes. So it's not, and you'll notice it doesn't, right there around the top, it doesn't have any, nothing that can cut you here. So if you accidentally touch the client's skin when you're close to the cuticle, it's not going to cut it. Okay? So a safety bit is what you'll definitely want a bit that has those features. Why buy anything else? If you can minimize the chance of cutting your client. Now, grit. We have grit on files, right? we also have grit with bits. Okay, so usually when you buy a bit, they will have like some type of indicator on it. Now this one has these little caps on the end here, and they have two functions. They can be an identifier of what type of grit this is, and it also helps keep the dust from going inside your e-file, right? So when you're working, this will keep, you can, because some people like to pull their bit and have their, if you've got really long nails on, you may want to bring your bit out further like this rather than because you need the length, or if you're doing really long nails. Okay, so this keeps the dust from going inside your e-file, which is something that you have to try to avoid for maintenance purposes, right? So but this blue means, in this case, because these are my bits that I sell, that this is a medium grit. Okay, medium grit, whereas this one is a more coarse grit, and it has a red on it. Okay, so it depends on the brand, really. Honestly, some
Like the colors.
the colors, right? Because see, this bit right here has a little blue circle around it too.
Oh yeah.
Blue indicator on it, and that wears off over time, right? Me personally, I can look at a bit most of the time and tell what kind of grit it is, because what grit do you think this one is?
Coarse.
Ooh, very, very coarse, like 4 times, 5 times coarse. Okay, so you usually can recognize one by looking at it. Like this one, obviously, is very fine, right?
The white one is plastic, and the other
Ceramic.
right?
We're about to talk
Oh,
about it.
ceramic.
Yeah, this is called ceramic. So it's like a
So
glass or something that you would make a bowl out of, right? Ceramic. So those are your grits, and then the next thing you need to be aware of is the shank. And this is very important, okay? There's 2 things I want you guys to know about the shank. First of all, the shank has length, okay? The length, like this one is a polished mixing bit, okay? I used to sell these. I don't sell them anymore. These are like my favorite mixing. You can mix polish with your e-file, okay? Look how long that is. And the reason it's that long is so you can stick it inside of a bottle without getting gel all over your e-file, right? But all of these bits have a shank, all of them, whether they're shorter or longer. Okay. Now, the other thing I want you guys to know about the shank that is important is when you are buying them, you need to buy a shank or a bit that has a shank size of 3/32 of an inch. Okay. 3/32. Okay. Because you will find, if you go on eBay or Amazon and you start buying bits, they might have 3/32. They might have 1/4 of an inch. They may have 1/8 of. With all that being said, they're not going to fit your professional e-file. Now this will fit. Guess what a big one will fit in? This one, because this is a drill bit for drilling on. This is for drilling on metal and wood and stuff, not nails. And this has an adjustable. Remember, it has an adjustable chuck that will open way up, and accept any size bit. Okay, because this ain't meant for nails. So always buy 3/32 3/32 of an inch bits. Okay. Do not buy anything else because they will not fit. Okay. Hey, Eleni. All right. Now, let's talk about the types. So we've got our diamond bits. Diamond bits are made of a natural or synthetic diamond particle. Okay. And I just realized or found out yesterday that they grow diamonds. So those are the ones that are not really that, worth a lot. Because if they had real diamonds on my drill bits, I wouldn't be using them on people's toes, that's for sure. Now, these bits can be used either in forward or reverse because they just have an even amount of particles on there, okay? Oh, in the parking lot getting ready to take your state board. Wish you luck. Congratulations. Good luck to you. These are also my most favorite bits to use on natural nails, okay? This is my professional and personal opinion, okay? So you can listen to this or you cannot. It's up to you. But these are the only bits that should be used on the natural nail. And if you're going to use it on the natural nail, let it be a medium or a fine grit. Okay, not coarse, but medium or fine grit. Let me show you my favorite ones, okay? Because I only use the diamond bits on the natural nail to prep. Okay? So these are all diamond bits. These bits that I have right here. Okay? Let me back up. Right there. Okay? These are all diamond bits. And this is a diamond bit. The ones that they give you in your little kits when you buy your nail drills.
That was the one Erica's
Yep, she had a bunch of them, right? These are all diamond bits, and you can tell that they're diamond bits by, you know, the texture of them, right? So these can be used. These are my favorite ones because you can get right. I can't live without this one. I just can't. I can't live without this one. This one you can get right in that cuticle area and get rid of just the cuticle, because that's all you're trying to get off the nail plate, right? We're not trying to shred the nail plate and grind it up, because we're going to use a buffer to remove the shine, right? If you do like I taught you. So this is going to give you real precise cuticle prep so that you get all that off of the nail plate. Other than that, I don't believe in putting anything else on that natural nail, okay? You will see people use these sanding bands on natural nails, okay? Why is that not okay?
damage.
Oh my God. It is so remember when we prep, we use a buffer, right? We're going to use a buffer because we don't want to remove nail plate. Think about using a file going, because even at level 1, if you got your e-file on 1, which is the lowest speed, how fast is that e-file going per minute? How many times is it going in a circle per minute? 35. Is it 100? Is it 35? Is it 1,000? Which one? So if I say something is 35K, it costs 35K. What does that mean it costs? 35K, 35,000. So if we go at 1K, that means that sanding band is spinning 1,000 times per minute on your nail plate. You can't even file like this 1,000 times per minute. So do you think that is going to be healthy for the nail? Oh, you probably just took off 10 layers of nail. Guarantee you, even at a 1 with a fine sanding band. It's not healthy for the nail. You're going to end up with some disorders, and I'm going to show you a couple. Okay? So keep that in mind. The sanding band or the diamond bit is so much less damaging. So much softer than a file. Okay? Because this is a file in a circle form. Yes, dear.
What are those sand bands really for?
Finishing, taking down nails, removing the product, grinding off whatever you need. I mean, you can use it on enhancements. You can use it on the acrylic or gel, but just not the natural nail. They're great for everything else, not the natural nail. If someone comes at your natural nail with this, run away. Okay? Ask them to stop. Don't do it. All right? That is my personal and professional opinion. Okay? Now, carbide bits. Okay, they come in several different colors. They come in blue, they come in purple, they come in gold, they come in silver. Okay, just keep in mind that the older they get, if they are having a certain color on them, because everyone loves these, right? These are like everyone's favorite. These rainbow colored ones, and you know the gold ones, and the blue ones. Like there's so many different colors, right? But just know that as they get older, they're going to change color and look weird. Okay, so And if you put them in the autoclave, they're probably going to change color as well, okay, because of that autoclave heat. Now, your carbides have what's known as flutes in them. Those little marks that are going like a pineapple. Yeah, it looks like a pineapple. Those are known as flutes, okay? And they reduce the amount of dust because they're literally chipping away at the product, okay? So I like to say that carbide bits are for quickly removing product. So if your nail is way thick and you're trying to thin it down, a carbide bit is great for that. Never, I repeat, never, and write this in your book, and this is not my professional opinion, this is a fact. Never put a carbide bit on the natural nail. Never. What did I just say carbides do? Chipping away. Can you imagine putting that on your natural nail plate, what it would look like? It would look like you were shaving cheese, with a cheese grater. And so you don't want that, all right? Now, not all of these bits can be used like our diamond bits in different directions. You can't use carbide bits, not all, in reverse and forward unless they are a 5-in-1. And I'm about to show you because you're going to be like, what do you mean? I can't do it. Okay. So this bit can be used in multiple directions. Why? Because the crosses go in multiple directions, right? They're not just looking like a swirl that's going up. However, this bit can only be used in one direction. Why? The flutes only go in one direction. So if you were to turn it in reverse and try to use it in reverse, it's not going to cut. It's just going to because the cuts are going in the wrong direction, okay? They're going counterclockwise, and you can't do it that way. So you will see bits known as 5-in-1, 4-in-1, 3, whatever in ones. Just look for the bits that look like they're a pineapple, cross-cutting, okay? Because those are the ones that can go in multiple directions. And obviously, we want to be able to go in multiple directions if we're doing our own nails, okay? So that would be important, okay? Now, I told you that you'll sometimes hear Swiss carbide bit. This is just Swiss metal. It's just made in Switzerland, I guess. But they also can be known as the safety bits, Swiss bits. I've heard them, safety bits. And all safety bits have those rounded tops. Okay? Moving right along. Now, they have what's called silicone bits. And these are meant for buffing and shining the nails. I do not buy these because they are not, you can't clean them very well. They should be used for personal use. Okay, I just don't really use, but they kind of feel like a pencil eraser. That's what they feel like, squishy like that. Okay, now the natural chamois, that's how you pronounce that, chamois or chamois bits, chamois. Cotton bits, goat hair bits. These are all natural hair bits. You cannot disinfect them. And I have a couple examples of one or two here. And the reason why you cannot disinfect them is because they're real natural hair or cotton or even these chamois bits are made out of goat skin or some kind of animal skin. I'm about to put it on the screen for y'all. Let me just back this up a bit. Okay. Now this one is all black. You know why it's black? Because I use it to buff my rings and stuff. I use a buffing cream for shining up my rings, and I use this with my e-file, and I shine it up, baby. It shines it up. Can I clean this and use it on a client tomorrow? No. But these are very cheap, okay? These are great for natural nail manicures on men that don't want to wear polish because you can use buffing cream. They sell a buffing cream. You can buy the buffing cream at like Sally's. I think Mr. Johnny sells it. It's pink. It's in a little container, but it's pink on the inside. You put a little dab on there, and let me show you how it works. Because it will shine up something. I wish I could get a big one for my car.
So that one, when you use it custom and we just put it...
Throw it away. Yeah, they're cheap. These are only about $1 a piece, right? So you take it and you're going to Buff that shine, buff it shine. But I use it on my jewelry to shine up my jewelry. Okay, but that's why it's black, because I don't use it on nails. But that one you cannot. You have to throw it away. If you're using it on a client. This one right here, which full disclosure, this one came in a Dollar Tree e-file kit that one of my students tried to use in here, and I was like, give me that. We can't use Dollar Tree e-files in here. So this one is like a pumice stone, right? Can you use this on someone else, on a client?
No.
You can't use it on a client. You got to throw this away. This is for personal use, okay? And then this one is like tightly packed cotton. I don't even know why someone would use this. It's like a cotton ball that's like, if I wet it, it will soak up acetone. Like, I don't know why. What's the use of it? But they sell these in those little Dollar Tree kits. Don't buy them, okay? Can't use it. Throw it away. Just get professional. We're professionals. We don't use that, okay? Now, tapered barrel bits. Okay, tapered barrel bits. These are also great to use on natural nails for prepping. Okay, that's a diamond bit, is it not? You could use this in place of the buffer if you wanted to, because it is bigger, covers more space. You can buff that entire nail down. But that flying saucer looking one, that V-shaped one, that was used a lot back in the day when we did pink and white Frenches, and they were permanent Frenches. We would use those to carve out a smile line into the nail. And I have an example of that in a slide later, okay? Those are some bits you may want to have. Now this one here, the natural nail disc, this is one that you don't see often, okay? I just showed you a pink one that's kind of a pink, the pumice stone version of it, but we can't use that, right? So this one, that is, again, you don't see that very often. The natural nail disc, how it works is this part right here. The bit is diamond, it actually spins, okay? This part will spin too, but when you get on the nail, it will stop. So let me show you, because it's easier to explain. So it's called a natural nail disc. So it is good for people with those really, really short nails. Maybe you can't get an e-file on the toes. Maybe you can't get an e-file underneath it because it's so short, right? So what you do is when you turn it on, you can shorten the nail and get real. I don't have a short nail. Come here, Queen. Come on for 1 second. I just need a finger real quick. Come sit right here next to me. I just want to show them how this works, because you don't have no nail on that hand. Just squeeze up next to me real quick. I just want to sit. You got to get right here in this one spot. So how this works? Let me back up a little bit. On a short nail, there we go. Do me a little twisty twist. I'm gonna break your arm a little bit. Okay. So how this works is when you get up underneath or really close to this short nail, you can get right under there, and then I'm not under there. Let me stand up. You get under there and push up against that natural nail. You see that? And it makes noise. It's gonna make noise, but it's not touching her skin, is it? Because that little guard right here is keeping it from touching her skin. So if she had really, really short, like hammer time toenails, look like somebody punched them down in there, you can't get an e-file under there, this would be good. Thank you.
Bitten nails?
Yep, bitten nails.
Okay.
Yep, natural nail disc. That's how that works. What about, yeah, you can get, no, you're fine. Ooh, thank you, Zay. Thank you, Zay. Tell them, please, because we only got 100 followers. We need 900 more. But that's not bad for one day. If I can get 100 followers a day, we'll be there next week. Okay? Close to it. All right. What about pedicure bits? Pedicure bits. Look how you notice how they look. They're a little bit different. Okay? Pedicure, bless you, I heard a sneeze. Pedicuring bits are just for removing the callus off the bottom of your feet. Okay? So what do you notice about these two bits right here? The holes, they're bigger, much bigger than a regular e-file bit. Okay? So the holes, what are those holes for, Melody? What do you think they're for? For the dust? Nope. That's a good guess. That's a good guess. So the holes are for, let me pin this comment. The holes are for the heat because when you do a pedicure with a bit, number one, you have to do it on a dry foot first. You're going to do a dry, so you're going to take, the client's going to show up and they're going to sit. You don't put them in the water. Don't put them in the water. And so this is where, looking at that foot before they actually sit in the chair is so important, okay? So when you do this, you're going to put this bit on and you got to turn it on and it's got to be up high because you can't remove dry callus at a low speed. You can't remove no callus at a low speed. But this is you're going to put it right on that dry foot, and you can't see my foot right now, but you're going to put it right on that dry foot to remove that callus. And then do the pedicure. Best pedicure they ever had. Okay, you know how I taught you guys to scale the foot down with a coarse file before you even put it in the water, right? So that way you can get most of the dry skin off beforehand. Then when you go in the water, it's more enjoyable for the client. Okay, and we do a dry pedicure with our y'all like how I threw that leg over there. Yeah, I still got it, girl. I still got it. Okay, so anyway. That's why the holes are there, because you're going so fast, you're going to experience a lot of heat. Okay, a lot of heat. So that's what that's for, the holes. Okay, everybody still with me?
Yes.
All right. Now, the types of bits that when you were asking about the sanding bands are great, right? They're great, just not on the natural nail. Okay, like I said, run. Tell them no, please don't. Use something else. Buff it. But these have also been known as prepper bits. But again, I do not believe in putting them on the skin. I mean the natural nail. They come in different grits, fine, medium, coarse, right? They different colors. You guys know that these colors of these bits of these sanding bands matter too, right? Like the white ones. Let me just show y'all, because you're going to be using mandrels today. Like these white ones versus these red ones. Okay, y'all have seen the zebra files versus the hard black files, right? So it's a different type of material that's on them. These zebra bits, which are my favorite types of mandrel bits, are much softer and I don't want to use enough. If I just laid all this acrylic, I do not want anything shredded off of my nails. I want to be able to, smooth them out and keep the integrity of what I just laid. So, what do you notice about these sanding bands versus these? Other than the color. Bigger, right, the size. So this is called a mandrel. Okay, this is called a mandrel, and you need a mandrel to be able to put the sanding band on. But just like everything else, there's more than one type of mandrel out there. Okay, there's several different types, and I think I have one more. The little small one. I loaned it out to somebody yesterday, and I don't know which bit it's on. But anyway, so they are now making these tiny little ones to fit these smaller bands. But these mandrels here, all three of these are different. What do you notice about these three? What do you notice about them? They're all different.
I want to have something like in the middle.
Okay.
Right?
So this one is your standard mandrel, and it will generally fit all types of sanding bands, right? The only thing about it is sometimes the sanding band don't really fit that good, okay? Or maybe it's either too tight or maybe it's too loose and it just spins on the band. So this one, it's got a little diamond in the top. Isn't that pretty? But this one has a feature right around the bottom. If you notice, you see these lines?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of pushing out a little bit so that when you put the bit on, it will get tight right there. Okay. When I first put it on, see it's on there now. It's on there. It's always easier to put a bit on and take a bit off when it's in the e-file. Okay. Because once it's locked in, it's easier to pull it off because it's locked, right? Now this one is a silicone squishy mandrel. And the reason I like this one is because if you notice, if I'm e-filing on someone's nail with this squishy silicone mandrel right here, okay? You see how I can squeeze this and it gives and it's bendy? So if I put pressure on my client's nail, it's not going to dig a ditch in the nail because it's going to be bendy. You see how it'll give me a little bit of a squishiness right here. Whereas this one is hard. And when I push down on there, it's going to be, what's this? Oh, no, I was talking about the mandrel bit. I ain't care about that. Where you get this from? From me?
Yeah, you let me borrow it and read it.
I was talking about one of them e-files got a little miniature sanding band bit on it. I'm lying. It's right here. Unless I'm not lying. Here's the miniature one. So you see the difference in the size. And I like the smaller one because you can get more precise. Much more precise. Okay? So pick your poison, do what you want, use what you want. It's up to you. Okay? You got options. Okay? Yes, dear.
You know how you use the coarse bit to remove stones and stuff like that? Can you use the sanding
You
bit
can.
to remove stones?
You can.
Okay.
Here's the thing about sanding bands, y'all. When you're using them, I don't know what kind of magic sanding bands they be using in the nail in the nail salons that last forever because they'll use them on from one client to the next. You ever got your nails done and the dusty sanding band on there and you're like, is this new? I go through 3 or 4 each set. I might go through 2 on each hand, a sanding band. You got to use a new one every time.
Disposable?
You must dispose. These need to be thrown away after every client. Do not use that. You can't disinfect them. They wear down just like a file. This is just like a file. Okay? So you do not want to use these from client to client, and you may use 3 or 4 each set. Okay? So that's why they come in these handy packs with a whole bunch in them. Okay? That's why.
Maybe after, also if you do like client every other week, can you just save it like in a Ziploc bag for the person, or you have to put it garbage?
These things cost pennies.
Oh.
Throw it away. A box of these, this is 100 or 200 in here, right? This costs you $5-10. Just throw it away. We're not that we're charging people good money. We can afford to throw away a 10 cent file, and for our client's safety. So yeah, don't save them, throw them away. And for your information, that is illegal in the state of Georgia. Because a lot of nail salons do that. They have a little box, like those little plastic box, and they'll put a client's name on it, yes. And they put their old dirty file in there that they used on them the last week because they don't want to throw it away. And then they say this is the client's special box, and it's got their name on it. You are harboring germs and just putting a dirty file inside of a box and then reusing it. There's no telling what has grown on that file over the 2 weeks or 3 weeks that since they, germs and stuff like that and bacteria. So just throw it away. All things that need to be thrown away are one-time use, throw them away. But that is a good question because a lot of people think that. Now, here we go. This is going to piss some folks off. So this bit right here, this is that circular bit, that round bit. What have you seen people use this for?
For designs when they do like this.
Well, that's what they should be using it for. But what most people are using these round ball bits for is for Russian manicures. Okay, have y'all heard of Russian manicures? Right? Well, last time I checked, I woke up every morning in the United States of America. God bless it. Okay? We do not live in Russia. So therefore, we do not do Russian manicures. Not only because we don't live in Russia, but because it is illegal to do in the United States. Cutting that skin we've talked about that, right? That's what they do in Russian manicures. But they also, instead of cutting it, will use that ball bit to exfoliate it off. Have you ever tried that before on yourself? I promise you, the people who do these Russian manicures, if they tried this on themselves, it hurts. It's painful. I bleed at the thought of it. I have the most tender, soft, smooth well taken care of cuticles I've ever seen in my life. When it comes to, you couldn't kick off skin off of the back of my cuticle without it bleeding. So what they do, because you're looking a little confused, this is what they do, okay, with the Russian manicure with that ball bit. And sometimes they don't use a ball bit. Sometimes they use even the diamond bits. Okay, they'll take this bit right here, and this is a small one. I can't find my big one. Okay, because I do have one, a big one. But they'll take this small bit right here. Okay, and they will put it right here on the skin to get rid of the keratinized PNF. That hard skin that everybody wants to cut. They don't cut it. They'll expose, and they go over and over and over until it comes off. And I'm like, bro, that hurts. Or you'll see them use something like this. Okay? And all on the skin. And then your skin is hard right here. We're gonna rub it off. You are not an esthetician. Okay? And even an esthetician is not allowed to cut or grind or remove skin off of the nail. That is so painful and so much of a no-no. Okay? So do not use that for that purpose. What do we use it for? For jewelry, like drilling a hole into a nail so that you can put a little jewelry. That's popular now, putting the little gems and jewels on nails, right? Or to carve those designs into a nail, like a unicorn nail, putting a stripe, you can carve down into it, okay? But you definitely don't want to use it on the skin, okay? Now, how do we disinfect the metal bit? The same way we disinfect any other metal anything, right? We're going to clean it with soap and water, dry it off, put it in our barbicide, 10 minutes, take it out, dry it off, put it in a clean container. And if you have an autoclave, which is awesome, right? If you do, then you can obviously put metal bits in an autoclave. Good morning, y'all. Now, you see what they're doing right there? That they're about to do a Russian manicure. They're gonna try to file all that skin that's lifted up in that cuticle area. They're gonna try to file all that away. Is it melted all the way? Turn the heat down then, because it'll be too hot for y'all's hands. Okay. Now, you're gonna want to practice on yourself. How are you gonna know how it feels if you don't try it on yourself? Okay, you won't. So practicing is going to help you gain confidence, practicing on yourself, okay? And then also you can practice on bare tips or eggs, or they told me yesterday we should try kiwis. Now, in this current state of the grocery, store, I don't know how I feel about y'all drilling on kiwis that cost, $2 a piece. But they said that was something they saw on TikTok, and they were removing the hair. You just remove the hair and don't remove the skin, just the hair. So I'm like, damn, what are y'all using? Scissors, like, to remove the hair? What are you using? A sanding band on? I guess. But I don't know. I feel like it would be a little bit too easy to take the skin off with that. But anyway, but we're gonna do the egg. So it's plenty of ways for y'all to practice. So okay, now first thing you guys want to do when you are practicing, you need to. That's why I harped on that fulcrum finger for so long, right? When you guys were practicing polishing, having that fulcrum finger was so important. And why? Because you're gonna use the fulcrum finger throughout your process of doing nails. You have to, unless you are a magician and you can just float in the air and apply, boom, like ding. No, you got to hold that finger so you get it on right, okay? So keep that in mind. You want to sit up straight. Y'all need to start sitting up straight anyway, because your back is going to be messed up when you start doing nails and you're bent over like this all the time. Miss Mary already got a hump in her back. I don't know what that's from. You're going to hold that e-file just like a pen. Just the same way you write. It's the same way. Now you're gonna loosen it up a little bit, but the same way you write, same way you want to hold this e-file, and that's why I said the ones that are more slender and like a pencil are much easier to hold and use, if you ask me, my personal opinion. You're going to want to have those elbows on the table or at your side some kind of way while you're e-filing and gripping that client's nail. You want to hold that finger so tight that you can feel their pulse in it. Okay, I literally hold those fingers so tight that I can feel the client's pulse thumping in it. Because if you don't, you're just gonna slip right on out. This is why doing e-filing with gloves is a little bit difficult sometimes. I see people e-file with gloves, bless their hearts and all their internal organs, because I cannot e-file with gloves. I usually can do it with maybe one hand, but not both. But that's up to you. The pinky finger is usually your fulcrum finger, but I can't tell that lie because it depends on if I have nails on. If I've got really long nails on, I'm resting my all three of these fingers on top of something because my nails are in the way. I don't want to file on my own nails. So it's really about getting a feel for it. Okay. Now, how you hold this bit on the nail. Let me take this pedicure bit off of here real quick so that it's a little bit more easy for you guys to see. Okay. So there's several different angles that you're going to hold this e-file, but there's about 3 of them that are very common, that are the most common. Okay. First and foremost, holding this bit parallel to the nail. Okay. We don't want to hold it like this when we're filing. What is that going to do? It's going to dig a hole, right? So when we're surface filing, we want to hold it in a flatter way. Okay. Now, how hard you press and all that stuff is going to, and where you do it, that's going to be dependent upon the type of, like here, I've got a nail that's got a C curve up here. So I'm holding it this way, flat against the nail right here. And then when I get over here in the cuticle area, I'm holding it more at a 45-degree angle. So I don't file off what? What's that curve called? The curve on top of the nail that you, right, this right here.
Apex.
The apex, the apex, yep, apex, whichever, as long as you know what it is. So that's why this good tapered bit here is good because it's giving me room to file and not file off my apex, is it? And if it's a bigger, fatter, wider bit, it may hit my apex, wouldn't it? So, and then holding it at an angle is very important. Now, you'll also want to hold it. So we've got our flatter, more, parallel view. Then we got a 45-degree, which is kind of, so at our cuticle area, and then 90-degree. And what's that going to be for? Cut downs, okay? Holding it at a 90-degree angle so that we can do a cut down. Nail Girl, you need to go to the link in my bio so you can see it on YouTube and watch live, okay? We're not Instagram people over here. I'm just here because I'm banned off of TikTok for the moment. I won't be back, okay? Instagram is lame. It's only 2 people in here watching. Can you imagine? 2 people on IG watching me. On TikTok, I'll have 1,000. That's why I hate IG, but I'm stuck here until you let me back in. All right. So go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. All right. Moving right along. This is an example of what will happen if you hold that at the wrong angle. You see how it cut down into the nail on that second one? Whereas when I'm holding it flatter and I've got my fulcrum finger, you see how I'm using the e-file to hold that bit, make that e-file bit lay flat and not skip around. Remember what happened with my client? I told you went around. Protect your client with your own fingers. I would rather cut myself than cut a client. Okay? Someone asked me, how do you handle a client that has shaky hands? Hold on to them hands tight. I mean, what else can you do? You got to hold that finger really, 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 really tight. But if they have like a disorder like Parkinson's where they're really shaking, I don't know that I may do anything with an e-file with them.
Basic manicure or something.
I don't even know if you can polish it if they're shaking too bad, So I guess it would just depend on how shaky we're talking. Press-ons, yeah. Press-ons for sure. Okay. All right. Now, with cuticle work, when you're getting around the cuticle, that's when you're going to want to slow that speed down. Okay, because you are working around around living tissue, and you want to be careful. Now, at a low speed, only remove the cuticle, okay, and hold that bit flat up against the cuticle. Never dig down into it, okay, and never ever shove your bit up underneath the PNF. That's what they do in Russian manicures. Have you guys ever seen a Russian manicure? It literally looks like the person is just in pain. Like I can hear them screaming in their silence. Like it's got to be painful. Okay. This is one of the things that will happen if you are applying way too much pressure and holding that bit at the wrong angle. What is those called? Rings of fire. That's a dents. Yep. Ditches. But it is in this industry, we call it rings of fire. Okay. And we don't want rings of fire. You literally can see where this client had a fill in every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, every month, and probably going at a high rate of speed. You ever had your nails done and you're cringing the whole time, like every time they're working? Or I've had clients say to me, "Please don't use the e-file on me. I had a bad experience." Like when people are afraid of an e-file, they have really had a bad experience. That's one of them. You do not want your clients having to take when they take off their nails. Look, you don't want them looking like an oak tree. Okay, you can tell how old it is by the rings on them. You know, that's how you can tell how old a tree is by the rings, right? We don't want that. Now, how do we do fill-ins and refills with an e-file? It's much easier to use an e-file to do one, especially if you have lifting. And I drew this yesterday for the other students, so I'm going to draw it again for you guys. Have you ever had let me make sure I'm in this frame here. Okay. You've ever gotten a fill-in or needed a fill-in and there was a little bit of lifting, right? Just around the cuticle area. What did they do? What did they use? What do they normally do? They take the nipper, right? So this is what you have, right? Let's just say your nail has grown out to here, right? Y'all can see that? Okay. So this is all new growth back here, and this is all your acrylic from here forward, right? So you've got a little area right here that's lifted, right here on the corner, maybe a little bit right here. And what do? They take this right here, this nipper, and they go to try to get that off. Well, what happens when you do that?
It damages the rest of the nail.
Well, it won't damage the nail, but what it does is it's going to pull the acrylic up, and now your lifting has moved from here to here. And now you want to pluck it again and pluck it again. So don't pluck at all. Don't do that at all. What you're going to do is you're going to take the edge of this e-file right here when you're doing a fill-in. Let me get on sideways. You're going to dig a ditch until that gets thin, and then you can just break it off. Does that make sense? That's called ditching. We use that on in the A&T world with clients that have really, really thick toenails that you can't just cut. Because if you cut something that's really thick, what usually happens? Does it go in a straight line? No, it usually is going to go whatever way it wants to. So we create a ditch so that we can pluck that nail or break that nail in a straight line wherever we drew that ditch. Does that make sense? So when you're doing maintenance or refills, an e-file can be very helpful with that. Okay. Also, a lot of times clients are going to want their nails cut down because they've had their nails on for a month and now they've grown out and they're a short girl, so they want to cut down every time. Well, back in the day when all we had was a hand file, doing a cut down was work. Okay. Now, when you're doing an e-file and you cut it down straight across, now what do you have? The tip is going to be thick because you shortened it and you went down to that. So now, back in the day when we didn't have an e-file, we had to file it really, really thin, and the nail would have a curve. Now we can take our e-file and file from underneath, so that our nail is thinner from underneath, and we don't have to file forever. Right? So an e-file is priceless if you know how to use it. And you can literally do from start to finish with an e-file. Okay? Now, There's an example of doing a backfill with a pink and white French with that saucer bit. Now, think about it. When you have a permanent French, pink and white, as your nail grows out, the white grows out too. So you've got to move the white back by doing, you end up doing with a French set after about 3 fill-ins, you got to refill the white. So you end up doing a refill twice in one day. You refill the pink in the back and the white. Miss Mary ain't doing none of that. She's soaking it off, and we're going to start fresh because I'm not doing all that work. Okay? Well, no. We're not. That's asinine. So if it's grown out that much, it's time for a new set. Okay? So I don't even worry with them type of bits. Okay? But that, again, is up to you. Have you ever had a client try to use your tools or try to take the e-file out of your hand because they think they know more than you? Baby, never. And nobody ever better try that either. How dare. That's like, what? You going to get your hair. Girl, you messing up my hair. Give me them scissors. If you don't put my scissors down. No, nobody would ever try that. And if they've tried it with you, they trifling. Don't let nobody do that to you. All right, so we talked about shortening nails, the cuticles, and shaping those C-curves with an e-file. That's really helpful, right? We've already talked about that. Finishing and buffing oils. I told you about the buffing cream, but they do make what's known as a finishing oil for e-files. Like you take a very fine bit and you put the oil on there and then you file over it. I have seen nail techs do that on TikTok and I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? How are you going to get, first of all, now you've got oil all in your acrylic, like in it. How is the polish going to stick? Right? I get my shine from my top coats and my gels and stuff like that, not from the buffing cream. And you've got to remove that oil anyway, or the polish will not stick. So they have those for your information, but please let me know why you would use it. Just let me know because I don't see any reason why you would use it. Now, obviously, putting cuticle oil after you're done is another thing. And using an e-file if you're only working on natural nails is very helpful. We talked about that earlier. I'm going to delete that one. Now, pedicuring with an e-file, we touched on this a little bit. I don't want to get into too much detail about it because this is part of the A&T course, right? However, you can use an e-file through the entire pedicuring process. Okay. Now, be sure the feet are dry. Make sure you have various size bits. It's very, very important. Okay. And sanding bands are not recommended on the bottom of the feet because they're small, and you need something that's bigger. Okay, they're just way too small. And that's why I like using a hand file as well. Okay. Let's see. Oh, buy more than one pedicuring bit, obviously. You don't want it, you're going to have to clean it in between clients, right? So make sure you buy more than one, okay? And don't remove too much callus off the bottom of people's feet. You need a little bit of callus on people's feet, don't you? Right? Because if you don't have callus when you start to walk, what's going to happen? It can split, your feet can split. You get those fissures in the back of your feet, okay? Now, troubleshooting. How do we reduce dust? If we want to make sure if we have too much dust going on, use a carbide bit. Remember, they have less, they're chunkier. They take off way more product. Using a dust extracting machine is great for e-file. Okay, because it's going everywhere. But to me, I've told y'all, those dust extractors, they just kind of blow dust, right? So it's a little aggravating. Let's see. Not enough shine. You're going to want to use a finer bit or finish with a chamois bit. But again, I care about the shine with the top coat, not really the e-file. All right. If you are experiencing heat, you probably need to apply less pressure or maybe turn up the speed. You're moving too slow, okay, and staying in the same spot. You need to lift off of the nail frequently, okay? If you're having grabbing, what's grabbing? When it catches and it's not sliding, it's probably going too slow, okay? You need to speed that up, and it may even stop on you, okay, if you don't. speed that up. Now, here's another example of rings of fire. Okay. Someone said to me yesterday they thought that was normal. It is so not normal. It is not normal to have these rings on here. Okay.
But that was in the acrylic, right?
That's underneath their gel or acrylic. Yeah. You can see it because it's clear.
Okay.
Their nails are clear. Yeah. So that might be their actual nails right there that are just an overlay. But you can see the actual filling lines. Okay. We talked about Russian manicures briefly, but just so you guys know, they are beyond your scope of practice. Okay. That's why they're not legal for you to do. Okay. Now, this is my last two slides right here. Make sure you keep that just for a few safety tips. Make sure your client's hands are facing in a more downward position so you can see. So have something for them to rest on, and then avoid applying pressure in too much pressure on the nail to the natural nail bed. Okay, lifting that bit frequently, and couple of other things. Maybe tie your hair back if you've got long hair. If you've ever had your hair snatched up in an e-file, it is not fun. Okay. Eye protection is very important. Okay. Listen, I have some horror stories, baby. I was removing some stones one time with an e-file, and that thing, I didn't have on a mask, and a stone went in my nose, went down the back of my throat, landed on the back of my tongue, and luckily I just was like, and it came out. I was like, imagine where that stone has been though for the past 4 weeks. It's in my mouth. Not even pain. It wasn't painful. It was just gross. I was like, oh, I got somebody's Swarovski crystal in my mouth. I've had stones fly in my eye. I've had chips of nails fly in my eye. Okay, just anytime you're clipping, cutting, grinding, filing, just eye protection. And each one of these drawers actually has a eye protection in it. Okay, and make sure you get your good education. So with that being said, that's all I have for the theory. Okay, but now we're going to work on the egg. Okay, so you all have should have a towel in front of you. You can move everything because I'm going to demonstrate, and then you guys can grab an egg out of the egg carton and follow and do this same exercise. Hold on, let me back up some. Okay. Where's my towel? I had one. Here it is. So, and the reason for the towel is, ladies, you guys, most of the time, the egg does not break because of filing on it. Usually the egg breaks because y'all drop it on the damn floor or drop it on the table, okay? So the goal here, so let me explain what the purpose of this egg is for, okay? So this egg represents the nail plate, okay? So today, I'm not focusing on shaping with the e-file, messing around with acrylic on the e-file. That all will come as you practice, okay? Because if you can do this, then you'll be fine, okay? Now, this is what I want you guys to think about is gel polish on the toes, okay? Why I don't agree with gel polish on the toes. This experiment will show you. Okay, so let's do a little math real quick before we get started. There's 12 months in a year. Most people get a pedicure every month. We should get them every month. We should. So that's 12 times a year you have your polish removed off of your toenails if you are using gel polish, right? But some of us are bougie and we want to get our polish changed in between. Let's just say you go every month and then every 2 weeks you just change the polish because you just want a new polish coat or whatever. So that turned into 24 times. Now that's excessive, and I promise you I don't polish my nails 24 times a year. But that can happen. And it's usually those girls that are just, they want the gel polish and they can't change it themselves. So they go to the nail salon and they remove it with an e-file. And those same girlies are the ones that come to me after 24 times of removing their polish, and they ask for an acrylic toe or a fake toenail because now their toenails are thin and they break and they can't grow out a little French tip, right? Because no one needs a French tip on their toes, all right? Hello. So this is going to show you why I don't agree with gel on the toes, okay? So what we're going to do is you've got your egg here, and I used this one yesterday. Let me push this down. I used this one yesterday, so I'm going to do it in the same spot. And this is what I want you guys to do. Okay, you're going to grab one of these markers. Oh, we got a bunch of markers over here. You're going to grab the markers, and you're going to ink up a spot. And I like to ink a spot that's about the size of a big toenail. Now, this is a massive toenail. This is a man that likes gel on his toes. You know, that happens in 2024. He's a beta, but it's possible. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to take my e-file, and you guys are going to come up here and get you one in a minute. But you're going to take your e-file, put your sanding band, your mandrel, and your sanding band. Oh, I forgot. Shayla's going to give you one. Okay. And you're going to turn this on. We're going to turn it on to the lowest speed. Okay. Start at the lowest. 1. Okay. Start there. And you're going to sand off. Sanding band. We're not using sanding paper. We're going to file off this color, okay? And I want you to file off as much of the color as you can because that's what they do, right? They don't soak off nothing. They file off everything. And this will explain. So you're going to go here and you're going to, and notice how I'm going down and up, down and up. I don't want to hear this because what is that going to do to your client? Burn, heat, yes, too hot, too hot, okay? So get in the practice and look at my fingers. Look at my fulcrum finger here. It's resting on the egg. You can rest it on your finger, but rest it on the egg so that you can control your e-file, right? Remove as much as you can. So once you get to about, and you may need a few sanding bands because you may go through a few. Once you get to, I lied yesterday. You was asking me for the acrylic. I do have for the dip. We do have it in there. I was thinking he was talking about something else. Oh, that glittery acrylic because that ain't for that's too little of that. You wanted that, right? Okay, so remove as much as you can, and this is about as much as you can without like breaking the goal is not to break the egg. Okay. Get in here and remove as much as you can. So that's about as much as I can remove. Okay? Because you got to remember this egg does have little bumps on it. It's not a smooth like a nail plate, right? So then I just, dust it off. And then that's 1. Well, it's actually 2. Color it in that same spot again. I want to see not only if you can make it to 12, which is 12 times a year, getting your gel polish removed off your toes with an electric file, okay, and not soaking it. But if you can get past 12 and you haven't cracked this egg, then you're doing good. However, you still need to be soaking this gel off, right? If you get to 12 and you don't crack it, try to do 24 and see if you can. Most people get to, how many people of y'all didn't crack your egg? Your egg, how long did it take before your egg cracked? 20 something time? 13, it cracked at 13? That's exactly where it probably will crack in real life. And what do I mean by a crack? Your nail bed your nail plate is no longer existent. You have filed all of it down to the point where there's nothing but a little bit of nail bed there. Right. To do what? Lay an acrylic toe on. Then you put the acrylic toe on. You bump your acrylic toe on the wall, or you kick your husband, or whatever you did to break it. And now you have no toenail at all. And now you got to wait a year or more for that toenail to grow back. No one understands this until it happens to them. And the goal is for that not to happen. Okay? So that's what I want you ladies to do today. Okay? Squeeze
Do you
me.
have any open adhesive glue?
Yeah, I do. One that, yeah, give me 1 second because I'm about to end this live. So that's what I want you guys to do. Okay? So come and grab an egg. Come and grab whatever you. I think she gave you most of what you need. The sanding bands are. We've got a thing full of sanding bands. Over there, mandrels are here. Here, someone can have this one because this is the silicone one. It's kind of soft there. Okay, and that's what we are going to do for the rest of the day. And you're going to fill in every last one of your e-file grades today. Yes, go ahead. All right. So if y'all don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and get off this live. What's the lesson? E-file. And you guys can go to my YouTube page and watch it live right now. We are live right now, but I'm about to cut it off.
Where did you say the
Bunch of, not those. Those are the, yeah. There's a bowl, a thing full of them, like the blue. If not, I've got a bag full here.
Oh, here they go.
They rolling. They rolling around somewhere. Let's see. Have you ever had a client? Have you heard of the sandwich technique? What you do think about or feel about it, and would you recommend it? Sandwich technique pertaining to, because there's several sandwich techniques with gel, when practicing, all of that. All right, so I'm going to end this live. If y'all have any other questions, post it on the live and we'll answer it as soon as it renders down. Thank y'all so much for watching. We appreciate it. Bye.